What if I told you that right here in TNT, we have this one type of flowering plant that plays a big part in so many things that make us, well, us. It ensures that our favorite foods get to our plates and contributes to everything, from our tourism product to food security to providing shelter for our endangered species and even coastal protection. Sounds important, right? Now, what if I also said that globally and locally, this plant is rapidly disappearing? In fact, in some locations here, we have lost entire fields in just the last 10 years. I'm Christel Mohammed with the Ministry of Planning and Development, and we're exploring the work that's being done to rehabilitate one of our most vital species that most of us don't even know exists. But first, we need a change of scene.
Because this particular flower blooms in the last place you'd expect. Welcome to the secret gardens under the sea. Welcome to the wonderful world of seagrass. Atish Kanhai is a benthic ecologist at the Institute of Marine Affairs, and he's a lead researcher on the IMA's Marine Tobago project, which is funded by DBTT. This is a huge research project, and it's using data to lay the foundation for seagrass rehabilitation in TNT. But first, what are seagrasses?
Seagrasses are true plants, which are not to be confused with seaweeds, which are not true plants. True plants simply means that they have a definite structure. So there are definite leaves, roots, stems, flowers, and definite fruits. Seagrasses are much like grasses on the land, except they've adapted to conduct their entire life cycle within the marine environment.
Seagrasses are also an incredibly important part of our marine ecosystem. And while they appear deceptively simple, don't be fooled. Their role in our environment is huge. They actually provide us with loads of really vital benefits.
So the benefits of seagrasses are numerous. One of the main benefits is that they can hold the sediment in place, and this means they protect coastal structures, coastlines. They also act as natural filters in the water column, which leads to improved water quality, improved water clarity, and this can have other benefits, for instance, their synergistic relationship with coral reefs. Seagrasses also provide nurseries for fish, shellfish, and other commercially important species, without which populations of these species will be decimated.
One of my favorite tidbits from Atish is that our dominant seagrass species here, Tillandsia testudinum, is actually commonly called turtle grass. And that's because it's a favorite food for green sea turtles. So, if you really want to see turtles in our waters, and I mean who doesn't, your best bet is to take a swim in Bonaccord Lagoon, which has our healthiest seagrass beds.
One of the major benefits of seagrass is that seagrasses are a source of blue carbon. What blue carbon means simply is carbon that is stored in the marine environment. Seagrasses occupy 0.2% of the world's ocean, but they sequester 10% of the carbon within the marine environment. They also sequester carbon at a rate that is 35 times higher than terrestrial forests.
Let me just put that into visual perspective for you. This is the space they occupy relative to the percentage of marine carbon they sequester. They are an obvious asset in combating climate change, and their protection is critical for our survival. From protecting coastlines to providing critical habitats, the value of seagrasses cannot be overstated. But they are more threatened than ever before. They face direct pressures from coastal land development, pollution, and global warming.
Over the past 20 years, the Institute of Marine Affairs has been monitoring seagrasses in both Trinidad and Tobago, and we have noticed a steady decline in these populations across both islands.
That's 2016 at Langaira Bay and Kilwin Bay. Seagrasses get their energy from the sun's light via photosynthesis, just like other plants. But that year, massive sargassum influences completely blanketed those bays, stifling the seagrasses there. Trinidad has also suffered major losses.
So for instance, where we used to have very healthy and dense seagrass populations in Williams Bay, that entire population has now been decimated, to the extent that now the only healthy Tillandsia population exists within the Bonaccord Lagoon.
And just as seagrasses provide so many benefits, their loss could conversely result in lower seafood catches, loss of coastal infrastructure, increased coastal erosion, and decreased water quality. We've reached a point in TNT where human intervention is needed to turn the tide on seagrass loss.
So now that we have witnessed over the last 20 years a loss in seagrass populations, the idea now is to address this loss. So Project Marin is an initiative of the Institute of Marine Affairs, and we have received support from the Tobago House of Assembly. Through this project, we hope to determine the methodologies that would be suitable for, once again, replanting and enhancing decimated seagrass populations. Before engaging in a seagrass replanting project, a number of factors need to be taken into consideration. It's not simply a matter of taking seagrasses from one area and putting them in another. A few considerations like temperature, depth, salinity, dissolved oxygen, and pH are very important for successful growth of seagrasses. One major factor is the level of pollution in the area. So you need to have low levels of land-based sources of pollution in order for a successful seagrass replanting project to take place. A number of tests were done in order for us to determine where would be the ideal locations. Some such things are water quality testing. A side scan sonar was done to determine where exactly seagrass populations are located. A snorkel survey was done to determine the density of seagrass populations. A beam trawl survey was also conducted. Beam trawl surveys determine the organisms that live in seagrass populations. This gives an idea of the level of biodiversity within these seagrass populations. And seagrass growth and biomass measurements were also taken, which is part of the IMA's regular monitoring program. And this gives us an idea of the health of the seagrass populations. All of these factors will play into site selection. Ideally, you want to replant seagrasses in an area where there were seagrasses before, because you know at some point the conditions were ideal for seagrass growth in the first place.
For the replanting trials, seagrasses were collected from Buttercorn Lagoon. The healthy meadows there made it the ideal donor site, and they were replanted with the support of volunteers and community groups at Kilburn Bay, which had suitable water quality levels and some existing seagrass growth. Community engagement via a marine resilience network is a core component of the Marin project, especially as one of the major challenges facing seagrasses is simply a lack of awareness of their existence and their value. Volunteers from Tobago Tourism, SEMPER, and other organizations help the researchers tie the healthy seagrasses to frames and U-pins, taking care to space out the plants so that researchers can test the viability of different levels of plant density. Volunteers help the researchers anchor the frames and pins at the test site, where progress will be regularly monitored by community and research teams. The project has also benefited tremendously from supportive THA officers, whose contributions have been invaluable to the success of the initiative thus far. Community ownership is critical for environmental protection, and when this research project is concluded, the Marine Resilience Network will share learnings to effectively equip the wider community involved in seagrass protection. Narendra Ramgalam and his team at Tobago Tourism came out to join the replanting efforts.
It may seem like a small activity, planting seagrass, but this has a bigger macro effect on the destination. In fact, a lot of our travelers who are coming to the destination, they want to see fishes, they want to see animals when they come, they want to see marine biodiversity. And of course, seagrass plays a role in that. It meshes well with our existing tourism products on the island. We recently got an award, the UNESCO Man and the Biosphere. Activities like this go hand in hand with those type of programs where we protect, preserve, maintain, and try to enhance the natural environment. Sustainability is not just about talking the talk, but we're about coming and doing the action.
Once replanting is successful, the goal is to scale up the project to different sites across the nation. The UN has declared 2021 to 2030 the decade of ocean science for sustainable development. And using science to reverse the decline in marine health is exactly what that's about. Projects like these not only recognize the deep value of our marine assets to our very way of life, but also the need to harness data to come up with the best interventions to our complex challenges. The necessity of marriage between research and policy was particularly emphasized at the Marin launch.
This crucial study is extremely important for the welfare of Tobago. One just needs to observe the several key areas that coral reefs and seagrasses influence in order to fully appreciate the vast impact that this study will have once completed. Our protection and stewardship of these natural resources must become a higher priority. It is imperative that we are able to utilize reliable research in order to make wise development choices on behalf of the people that we serve. Research and governance must go hand in hand.
This study is a noteworthy milestone in our nation's quest to place the environment and its welfare at the center of our sustainable development goals. The restoration procedures offer hope for the future conditions of our marine ecosystems if all goes well with this pilot project.
The project was funded by BPTT, and supporting work like this aligns with BP's vision for the future. When you think of life on the water, chances are your mind goes first to coral reefs. But the truth is that a healthy and productive coastline actually relies on a number of ecosystems all working together. Mangroves, seagrasses, and coral reefs all feed into the other, and without any, the others suffer. Relegating seagrasses to second fiddle not only misses how vital they are for the health of our marine environment, but also that they are utterly beautiful and magnificent ecosystems in their own right. Beneath our gently undulating waters, there are swaying secret gardens alive with magic just waiting to be discovered. So, the next time you encounter seagrass, get curious. Grab a snorkel and a mask and go exploring. You're going to see loads of fishes and probably even a turtle and a spotted eagle. To learn more about the Marine Project, which is also exploring coral reef restoration, reach out to us on social media at Planning TT or at IMA Golf TT. I'm Crystal Mohammed. Thanks for watching.